On number 10, it says that Justin was charged 6% interest, compounded hourly, on a loan of $750 for an 8-year term. What total did Justin pay to borrow the money over 8 years? How much did he pay over 8 years? So if they're doing it hourly, you look at your cheat sheet, it's like 8,700 and something, 8,760. There's 8,760 hours in a year, okay? So that would be your N, would be 8,760. And your rate would be 0.06. So notice this fraction is going to be infinitesimal when you multiply, when you put 0.06 over 8760. It's going to be a tiny little number. For these, you've got to put it all in your calculator at the same time, okay? Your principal is what you started with. That's how much you borrowed. And your time is 8 years. Everybody get this?
So you said N is...
When we put this in the formula, we have A equals 750, 1 plus 0.06 over 8760 to the 8760 times 8. And you key it all in your calculator. So what does that mean? It means that he took a loan out for $750. Number one, this is very confusing to me because it took him 8 years to pay back a $750 loan. That's kind of pitiful right there. But he paid it back in 8 years. How much did it cost him to pay it back in 8 years?
$1,200.
Yeah, so what is that difference? What does that difference account for? So you got 12, that minus 750, right? That's $462. What is that from?
From the fees that he owed.
It's in interest that he had to pay.
Yeah.
Money costs money. If you're going to borrow money, it costs you to borrow money. Okay?
Why do they do that?
Well, high school and I go to college, a lot of companies will try to get you a credit card. Because you're going into college, they know you're going to get a college degree probably. Some of you won't, some of you will, but most people will. So they want to get your business before you you're an adult, okay? They also want to get you to put money on your credit card and get in trouble because they know your parents will bail you out.
They want to make money.
And they want to make money. I went to a seminar with the head of a big bank here in Charlotte, and he says they make the most money on extremely wealthy people because they had trust funds and all kinds of services that they used, and extremely poor people because they kept bouncing checks and putting stuff on credit cards and paying interest, okay? So credit cards could be your best friend or it could be your biggest enemy. You can get in a lot of trouble with credit cards, okay? When 2008 happened, where the bubble happened, where the real estate market crashed, there were some changes made in that year so that when you get your credit card statement now, you get, it tells you if you pay only the minimum payment of this credit card, what they require, it'll take you like 27 years to pay it off. Because they're not asking you to pay that much. They're asking you to pay just a little less than the interest, a little more than the interest. So you're just paying off like cents a month. And it'll take you 27 years to pay that off. If you pay, then they give you another number, and if you pay that number every month, it'll take you 3 years. So of course, if you pay more than that, then it takes you less than 3 years to pay it off. Now, to take out a $750 loan over 8 years, that doesn't happen. I don't even know why that's a problem. Like, you would be taking much more money for 8-year loan. It would be like a car loan or whatever, okay? So your calculator does a lot of that, but your credit card, let's say they gave you a $5,000 credit card limit. And you just got into college and you had to go to a party, so you went and bought some nice clothes and you spent $200. And then your friends were going to the beach. Well, I don't have money. Oh, but you have a credit card. Why don't you put it on your credit card? So you spent the whole weekend at the beach and it was $500. And you got gas and groceries, so that was another $250, okay? So at the end of the month, you owe them $950. Well, if you can't pay that whole amount off, they're only going to ask you to pay $90 a month. And you go, wow, I spent $950, and they're going to ask me to pay $90. But look what happens. They're charging you probably, as a young person with no credit score, 21% interest, okay? So let's see what that amounts to. This is every month. So you would take your $950 plus 1 plus 0.21 and divided by 12, because every month you don't get charged 21%. You get 1/12 of that charged every month. And then after, let's say, 3 years, let's see how much you would pay in interest on that money. Go ahead and key that in. It would be 17 what? What was the number?
1774.03.
Is that what you got? This formula, the N, is the number of times your account will get interest. So if it's quarterly, how many quarters are in a year? How many quarters are in a year?
4.
N would be 4. If it's weekly, how many weeks are in a year? It's on your cheat sheet.
52.
52. If it's hourly, it's 8760 times a year. Well, it's 8,760 times they give you interest, but they give you 1/87/60th of the interest that's coming to you, okay? They don't give you all your interest every minute or every hour. If it's semi-annually, it's 2 times a year, okay? And so on. I have a list that has all the ends for you, so you can look on there for your ends. So she started off with 84,200. That's your P. Your rate is 0.05 in a decimal. Your time is 6 years. And you're compounded every 5 days. That means that N is, what is it, 70 something? 73. There's 73 every 5 days, groups of 5 days in a year. It's 365 divided by 5, okay? So let's put it in there.
What ones do you do? For T, it says 6 or in 5 days.
5 days is the compounded. So that gets you you go to your cheat sheet for N.
Oh.
The years is how long you're going to have the money in the account.
Oh, wait a second. You said something about 5 days is in?
Every 5 days you're getting that. I made that up just to mess with you guys. Every 5 days you're getting interest. You're never going to get a deal like that. So every 5 days you have to pay interest or get interest if you're investing. If you're investing, you get interest. If you're buying something with money you don't have, you pay interest. You see the difference? So every 5 days would be, there's 73, N would be 73. There's 365 days in a year, divided by 5 is 73. So that's 73 times 6. So key that in your calculator.